Hi.
Welcome to Wednesdays with Whitney. I'm Whitney, and today I'm here with Amy, who is a fabulous Des Moines artist.
Hi.
Been here. How long have you lived in Des Moines?
I have lived in Des Moines all my life.
Whole life.
Whole life.
So
yeah.
we've got a lifer here.
Yeah.
Amy and I met a couple years ago, probably. Crossed paths through Emily.
Through Emily Steele, yeah.
Yeah, which, you know, I think this is how I cross paths with
what
most
she
people
does,
in the world.
yeah. She brings people together.
Exactly, which I love. And I was just so drawn to Amy's energy and your honesty in everything that you do. In every conversation you have, like, I feel like we get right into it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
and I just think I wanted to kind of talk about how that looks in your art. So Amy's an artist, an incredible artist. You can see her work around town. She'll tell us a little bit more about that. But can you tell me first about when you think about honesty, integrity, artist philosophy, what does that look like to you?
Well, it doesn't look like those fancy words. Mm-hmm. It looks like just kind of spilling it out. I think Brene Brown has a great word where she calls it something about like what's the light in the water? Why can't I think of it? That guides the ships. Oh. Like the big fog light kind of thing.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Some people have this lighthouse kind of thing where you unfortunately say too much. And so for me in my artwork, like I feel like I've been the same artist in a way since I was a kid. Like I'm always trying to tell a story, but I also will incorporate family stuff or it's a split personality thing. So the paintings are all bright and inspiring and colorful and feel really kid-like to me.
And have a lot of figurative elements and word elements.
Female, and definitely words and very feminine. And then I make collages out of antique papers and photographs and found objects. And I started making the collages in a photography final. So I needed to do something than just turn in photography, and it was great. And so as it went, this years of making collage and using old papers and people's personal belongings that have gotten like set aside that I think still have value led me to this place where I'm at, where I've been gifted all this family papers and mementos and photographs. So one thing led into the other, and I can tell this family story, which ultimately my family, but ultimately turns in so many times to our own family. We all have family stories and tragedy and darkness and love and light and craziness.
Well, and I think telling the story of your family, people walk into that and they already resonate because they already see pieces of maybe things that aren't chatted about within their family, and you're bringing it to light. And something that I find really fascinating about your collage pieces and the artifacts and the mementos is like I can see you piecing it all together, and I think there's something so beautiful about the idea of a collage, because it is the idea of a family, right?
Yeah.
Because you are bringing all of these elements together and creating a whole. And that's like the parts of our family, we are bringing that all together, and I think it's such a beautiful metaphor for making sense of the world.
Yeah, because the collages kind of feel like they make themselves. Like I'll have these piles, kind of not on purpose will find myself putting the things together over time. Like I'll have a series of the photographs, just have a box and the papers.
Like, this is this collage coming to life.
And then I'm ready, and then I put it all together, and then I add the natural elements, and it's good. Because it was almost like the ghost of people, of remnants, of things that you find in the junk stores or in the garbage, or people, they at the sales and stuff like that. So putting together this whole other story of what could have been kind of thing.
And how you see it. It's what could have been, but how do I see the world?
Yeah.
And how do I see the past, and how does this have an impact on the future or my present? So if we were to think about Des Moines, you've got a lot of big public pieces up. Can you tell us where just so people can get a visual of, and actually grab our things over here. Okay. Let's grab maybe the matches, and just so you guys get a sense of her style, because as soon as I show you guys this, you're gonna know exactly what her works
probably
like.
Sick of me already. So
never.
I started I think one of the first murals in town was the original Harry Mary's Punk Rock Tavern, which was super fun. Jeff Wright was the owner. Now it's the High Life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, it was amazing. And it was a long time ago. And so 92 or so. And so he had a bunch of artists come in to paint murals all over the walls of the space. And it was really awesome. And he had great venue, great bands show up. And since then, Big Tomato Pizza,
in there.
A few of the Power Life Yogas, the West Des Moines, the Waukee, the Downtown Studio. There's a sign on a building downtown that says, hello, Des Moines, you are amazing. That was super fun to do.
Court Ave one, right?
Yeah, it's Court Avenue. I had a very short amount of time.
Yep.
And another artist left me another 20 feet of wall or something like that, over 30 feet in the air. So I did my best. I'll only claim the part that says, hello, Des Moines, you are amazing.
That does happen with art. Sometimes it's like, you're like, I didn't do that.
Yes, right, right.
And then I think that's the beautiful thing about putting art in the world is that there is this moment of letting go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because it's done, and you are I would say a professional letter goer.
Oh yeah, I got to work on it, because it does take up space. It's consuming to not let go. And I think the art can be, what I understand is that you're going to make it your thing anyway. The viewer's going to make it about them and what they see. They might like it, they might hate it. I don't need everyone to love it, but if you go into a big acai bowl and you're super excited about the deliciousness you're going to get, and then you see the walls look really awesome and fun, then it just adds to the experience. It's a way to, I like to say, anonymously brighten someone's day, because it's not about me. It's about maybe someone walking by somewhere and having a little something that says, hey, you're amazing. Yeah. Then they might be like, right, I am amazing.
That's right. And well, you use such bright colors, and I love the sense of whimsy in all your pieces. And I think if you were, before we dig into this next question that I'm going to ask, I do want people to know where, because you've got a couple of shows coming up. Oh, yeah. Can you give them a little touch base on that? Awesome show called Prelude on the 22nd, this Friday, from 5 to 8. It's at Scenic Route Bakery. It's a lovely, Summer Mills has put it together. It's a lovely mix of great artists. I'll have a little table of stuff. And I love coffee. That'll be great. And then on the 28th, so this is all the kickoff for Art Week. There's a million amazing things going on for Art Week. Really look into that. And on the 28th, on Friday the 28th, I'm having a show, studio tour, home tour called The Viewing, Art on Death and Reconciliation. Big event at the house in the Drake neighborhood. And I got to go to your home and your studio, and oh my gosh, just to experience being in your space. And how you, and I didn't get a chance to see, you hadn't put together quite yet what was going to be in the show. Oh yeah, right. But getting a chance to be in that space and see your creativity organized in a sense, and just see, I love being in people's spaces. And it's not particularly organized, but it's like, it is. Everything has its place. Yeah, for sure. And everything has intent. And I love walking in and seeing, I love being in people's homes. It's going to be good. Yeah, and this is good. And so last year we did an art tour for Art Week, and it was Edgar Camacho, who's awesome, and he was like, you need to have your house as a part of this tour. Totally. It's like, okay. And I love the idea of not tripping on it being perfect or super clean. It's like, this is a crazy person, crazy family, awesome creative people. This is where we live. This is what we're doing here. Yeah. So it's good. And there's a whole separate garage. It will be a whole art installation for this particular show. I love it. And it invites people to participate. So you can find out more about that show online, and maybe we can post in the comments so people can find that. Awesome. There's an event page. Yeah. Love it. So I'm going to try to remember this question I had, because I thought it was really profound at the time, but I wanted to get that out. So thinking about, art and the art of letting go. So when I think about the bright colors you use and the words and the whimsy, like, has that always been part of your persona? Because the other way that we met was through the Safe at Home campaign, where you shared your recovery story, you shared your getting out of abusive situations story. Like, when you think about your past and the challenges that you faced and overcome, what does that end up looking like in your art? That ends up looking like, so there's always been an element of darkness and a little sassiness and just sassy and just everywhere. I mean, you see your glasses, right? It's just sassy. I love it. So what it looks like to me is the humanness of it. Like, I wouldn't change a thing. Like, if I hadn't gone through the hard stuff I went through, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. 100%. And so telling that story of we get so maybe small and secretive in the sense of, like, I don't want to talk about what happened to me. Like,
Like I still was like, I wasn't in an abusive relationship. I was a fighter. Like this was we were willing participants and some stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you know, the bottom line is that when someone manipulates you or makes you feel less than, or you allow them to let yourself do that to you, then that you got to come out of that. Like you got to grow and go through the hard stuff. And so I like my art to have the positive stuff, to have that messaging of, you know, go kick ass, go be amazing. Like it's too short of a life to let someone else dictate how you feel about yourself. Like I like to, when I teach a yoga class, oftentimes the line is that you're the boss of your life, of your joy, of your happiness. Like no one can do it to you or for you. You get to decide to be amazing. And there was that thing of like learning how that I was taking care, I forgot that I belonged to myself. That was the thing. It was like a spiritual big deal to be like, oh, I've been treating myself like I belong to me. Like it's my job. Like I can wreck it and think bad thoughts and be in bad relationships and drink too much and think less of myself, when really I get to be like, I'm borrowed. Like I didn't design this thing I live in, but I get to live in it and take care of it and think good thoughts about myself and try to be in healthy relationships and do things to nourish it so I can be there for others. It's not all about my life happening to me. It's about making the space better, you know?
When we end up in conversations a lot of times about because we both are people that the message of showing up for yourself, self-love, like how much of a struggle we see in other people when they're simply talking about themselves. And I think you're in a yoga space and just like a very open emotional space where people will come to you with their baggage. I live in the same world where people come to me with
we become the therapist kind of in a way, or just the safe spot, which I think is important. That's why I'm not doing yoga in the yoga studio, but I'm doing it behind Whispers. They have this great place because not everybody wants to walk in a yoga studio because it's heavy. Like, and not, it's like my husband's a tattooer. And the tattoo therapy is real.
Oh,
you know?
totally.
The photographer.
Well,
you're amazing at that too.
Thank you. But I think there's something about all three of these, like the risk. First of all, I think it's a big risk to show up in a yoga space and move your body in ways that are uncomfortable and like to sort of put yourself in the hands of someone else. Tattoo's the same. You are putting your skin in the hands of somebody else. Photography is the same. And I think that anytime you are at risk in that capacity, vulnerable, that word, we have the people on the receiving end of that get to hear the things that are hard. And I think the thing that we talk about a lot is how do we, when I'm hearing people that are saying things that are not positive about themselves, it's really hard for me to see this beautiful person, this beautiful, strong person as I see them in front of me. And you had some really great insights on that. I'd love you just to expand.
Well, I love the line, because when I first came into a recovery program, I had a good 10-year run of drugs and alcohol, and it was the alcohol that kicked my butt in the end, and that and with that comes a lot of self-loathing and deception. But when I came into a program, I was like, I don't know that I'm self-centered. I feel like I try to do stuff for others, and then I realized that, you know, I'm really good at self-loathing. You know, I kind of learned that from my mom, how to really not appreciate myself. But she loved me at the same time. But it was brought to my attention, and I can't remember how, but whether I think I'm the most amazing thing ever or whether I think I'm the worst thing ever, it's still me thinking about me.
Yes.
Right?
When she said this to me, I was like,
boom. Yeah, and that was the same thing for me too.
It was so beautiful.
Whether you think you suck or you think you're amazing, it's still you thinking about you. So thinking about others is crucial. And again, back to that, you know, what you were just saying is that it's about gratitude. Like, it could always be worse. You know, like, it could always be worse. I like to talk to the women in the prison and the treatment centers, and it could always be worse when we're small in our lives and just thinking that we're not enough, or thinking that, you know, it should be different. We shouldn't be right where we're at now. Then we can always be there for someone else. Try on some gratitude or being there for someone else, and it elevates you. Also, there's that thing of, I was just mentioning to someone at the coffee shop that I think it's Eckhart Tolle who says that our brain is designed to think the next moment is always better than this moment. So we're always rushing to the next moment, like, get me out of here because that will be better than now. And then you're just kind of rushing to death rather than being in the moment and taking it in. and noticing what's there and having that gratitude and not thinking about yourself so much. You know, what is that? There's another great line that's like, don't think less of yourself, think of yourself less.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah, it's good.
Well, and I think that the idea of playing small, right?
Yeah.
You make big work on big walls.
I love that.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, I think just that action of saying, like, I am going to make big work on big walls. Like, that's something, when people look at that, when people see somebody doing that, they're like, whoa, that person's got some chutzpah there going, you know, underlying that. Or like, sometimes when I would post a photo of myself that's a little out there, a little, right, you know?
Yeah, I get that too.
Then the reaction is like, whoa, you did that. But I think, and every time for me, I don't know how this feels for you, but I remember some of I have felt in a lot of risk posting some of those photos, even though I sort of thought that maybe I could inspire or I could be something in that. The moment before, I was like, oh, like, but then I was like, why? Like the playing small thing, like,
what's the big deal?
And
like,
pretty soon the risks get bigger, and you forget, like, the small risk the risk starts to look smaller in hindsight.
Right.
So now, I remember, like, about a year ago, I wasn't talking about being unapologetically extra. I wasn't really leaning into that idea. And now it's very comfortable, and it's we all are talking about it, and it's fun, and it's a group idea. But I would say a year and a half ago, I wouldn't have been posting images of myself. I would have been like, oh, no.
And it's so awesome because you see the others that want to do that with you.
And they get in it with me.
Because it's like, this is what we're here to do. We're not here to be small.
And we're not here to hide.
Or be afraid.
Exactly.
Right.
We are here to show off exactly who we are at this moment.
Yeah. And if you want to hide and you want to be small, I'm cool with that. Like, I also don't play to the end that everybody has to be positive and happy and bubbly all the time. It's okay if you're not. It's okay if you don't want to be out there, but that inspiring others to, I mean, this is life we're living, and like doing your best thing and loving yourself. And also we make it too big of a deal if we don't want to share with others. If we can't share a photograph and be like, big deal, it's a photograph, like it or not, it's good. You know,
big deal, this is my opinion. Like
and
it
the
or don't.
unapologetically extra is so awesome because it's like, oh yeah, I get to do that. Like, I just
giving permission, or just like going a little bit further, or breaking the myth that you can have a photo of just you.
It's heavy work that you're doing. You know, it's heavy
actually
work. Like to because you're really comforting and engaging, and you make it so fun and light, and then to have people come and participate in that and be like, oh yeah, like, I am awesome. Like, I can do this thing to inspire others. I think it's really cool.
It's one of the most fun things I have. And I think that when you engage in any type, literally, I think this is just the way that you live your life. When someone walks into your space, it literally just the 3-foot radius around you. And any conversation, it's like, you always have a way of reframing the way that I'm thinking about it, so that even if I feel myself spinning a little bit in my head, and usually if I'm spinning, it's going down, it's not going up. You have this way of saying, like, okay, like, you can have pain, you can have anger, you can have terrible time, and all of this is going to create like a joyful moment in the end if you use it.
Right.
And I think that that's just something that you model so beautifully.
Absolutely. Because we don't get the good stuff without the hard stuff. Yeah. Like, if you don't change, like, what do they say? If nothing changes, nothing changes. Yeah. Like, I didn't want to be sober. I didn't think that would be cool. I didn't think that would be neat. I didn't want to love myself. I thought, that is super not cool. Yeah. Like, how silly and mushy is that? But I wanted to be a different example for my daughter. And so you know, doing things I don't want to do has led to amazing results. Like, wanting to quit drinking has led to doing the work that it takes to flip the switch, to have a different perspective, to realize my perception may not always be right, and to look at it all around. And the hard work, you know, there's so many of us that I was the same. It took me 3 years of thinking and reading fancy books about not drinking and trying to intellectualize it and do all these things rather than working with another woman in the program and saying, you know, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And
you can't solve the problem on your own.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. And doing that work, and also, you know, looking at the shadow part, because I live in the shadow in a sense. Like I'm comfortable with it.
Yeah.
So it was more important to me to let in the light, because I was a self-proclaimed like dark sider. I liked the darker end of things.
Speaking to my soul.
Yes. So it was letting the light in and letting, like my first mantra was let yourself be loved, because people were trying to love me and I was really good at pushing away. Like I am too broken, too damaged, don't care, don't do this. And it was like that mirror, that reflection of what I thought about myself, because I had kind of learned that was modeled to me. And my mother was amazing and loving and encouraging, but did not feel the same about herself. So we often don't see what people are saying, we see what they're doing.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's part of the work, and the work is hard. And it can be subtle, and sometimes you don't realize you've done it. Yeah. But there's so many avenues of help and conversation and hope. And whether you have a drinking problem or a thinking problem, you know, we can think or we can drink and we can fall down, right?
I think I fall into the thinking problem
we get stuck
category.
Between our ears. We forget that we live in this whole awesome body that's designed for healing and designed for love and designed for breathing.
And for forward motion.
Yeah, we get stuck just letting the brain do the work. What the brain does when the brain does, that's great. You can think and think and think, but you have to let the other part go. Yeah. You know, and when you can sit quietly and close your eyes and feel the earth underneath you and just take a moment and get in your breath and know that the world is happening all around you and it's chaos and crazy and scary and wild, but right here, right now, everything's okay. You know, that's a moment. That's a little bit.
Can we finish by both of us just sitting here quietly? Yeah. And I would love for you to just kind of lead us in the last minute of just like
guide us out of it.
Sure. Okay.
Sure.
So if you're watching, guys, this is some quiet time.
Yeah, it's some quiet time. And if you're driving, don't close your eyes. So wherever you're at, if you can sit up tall, we say the spine is upright but not uptight. If you're sitting in the chair, notice your seat, notice your feet on the ground. Close your eyes or soften your gaze if that's okay. Tuck your chin if it's sticking out. Soften your tongue. Right? We're just here and now. You're here, the world happening around you. Maybe there's typing or clicking or children or whatever. And you're here and now. Feel the weight of your body, of your presence. Soften behind your eyes. Soften the crown of your head. And begin to notice the breath moving through your body. Without judging, without thinking you're doing it wrong, without any negativity, but come at it with love and compassion and acceptance. Just notice if it's uneven, if you're holding your breath, if it's shallow. And begin to expand the breath a little bit. Take a big inhale. And you can let it go. And breathe naturally but deeply. And sometimes we use the breath as a tool to move through the body, like cleansing, getting in the nooks and crannies, any stress or static or fear or judgment or comparison. Or you can pick a mantra, which is just a tool. It's an instrument of the mind. It's something to come back to when the mind wanders to the past or the future or to a list or to a judgment or to that bitch at work, I say sometimes. If you're working on some letting go or some peace or some space, or my original mantra of let yourself be loved. And you can stay in this space and come back to that word and forgive that woman at work. And forgive yourself. And be in the moment. And breathe for as long as you like. You can bring yourself out when you're ready. Sometimes when we sit still, stuff comes up, you know. We don't give ourselves oftentimes to be quiet. We're always running and busy and occupied. And when you give yourself time to be still and to slow down, some stuff comes up because your body's really wise. It can help you release some things. It can be difficult. You might want to scream and run and cuss and shut us off right now. That's cool. But you're welcome to stay and soften. Soften your heart. Soften between the ears. Bring your hands to heart center. Begin to rub them together. Create that heat, awesome heat that you create with your hands, with your body. And place your hands on your heart. Blink your eyes open. Take an inhale. Let it go. Woohoo! Just a little moment like that on occasion is good.
I think that's going to be the best part of my day, folks. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.